What's up, y'all? In this Dariacore tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take something like this, turn it into something like this, so you can use it in your track like this. Okay, and so the way that I did this was using Snap Heap and a couple EQs and an OTT. But the first thing that I want to say here is some credit to the people who made this track. So this is Curtains and Kuru's Clueless, and the first thing that I did was took their track, put it in the vocal remover thing from my last tutorial, did the time stretching and pitch shifting to get it in the correct key and BPM for this track, just to match it to the 10 toes down vocal, and then chopped it up a little bit. So as you can see here, I basically just took their one of the sections from their track and got rid of these empty spaces. Then the next thing that I did was go in here, and so this is what I had starting out, right? And as you can see, there's no vocal in there, but it kind of bleeds through from the removal process that happened. So the first thing that I did was I went in and EQ'd out the bottom because I wanted to use the bass that I had in my track, right? So I got rid of this part. So we just kind of have those glitchy little artificial sounding elements. And then the next thing in the processing chain is this snap heap, but it's not the next thing that I did. And this is one of the good parts of this little technique right here. The next thing that I did was put an OTT after my little glitch machine maker in the snap heap. So I went in and put an OTT, turned the depth all the way up, or had the depth all the way up, turned the time all the way down, and then cut the lows because I'm only trying to get that mid-range and high information in this. Okay, so in my snap heap here, the first thing that I did, I used this quarter split preset, and I'm going to show you how to make that real quick. It only includes these 4 trance gates and the parallel mode turned on. And what that does, if you don't know, serial processing, if this is your snap heap, right, if this whole thing is your snap heap, in serial processing, when these blue lights are not on, you would basically have your signal goes through the input, right, it goes into your snap heap, and then it goes through bus 1, and then it goes through bus 2, and then it goes through bus 3, and then it goes through bus 4, and then it goes out. Whereas if I turn these 4 on, it's in parallel mode, which as you can see here, would mean that my signal starts in the snap heap, goes through bus 1, and out of the synth, right? Goes through bus 2 separately and out of the synth, bus 3 separately and out of the synth, and then, a la bus 4. So that's how serial versus, and this one on the left is serial. This one on the right is parallel. So what that gives you in the, once you've done that, is 4 different things. So then I can go in my trance gate here and turn on the first little section. So I have my first section on, and then it turns off. And then my second section turns on and then off. And then my third turns on and then off, and fourth. And so by doing that, what you end up with is with them all together, you can't really notice because it just sounds like it's gating it. But what it's really doing is gating it into 4 different sections. Right, so now I have 4 different little slices that I can go in and put different effects on to get kind of unique stuff. So the first thing that I did was I went in and using LFO2 and put it on dotted quarter, right? So that's a quarter note plus an 1/8 note, and had it pluck a low pass band. So, and then just duplicated that same filter into all 4 bands. So I have this little plucky, almost like a French house sounding type cut thing, but it's a little glitchier than French house. So then as far as these bottom effects are concerned, I didn't really put too much thought into them. I do have an LFO1 kind of just modulating a couple of these parameters here, which is the bit crushers and the comb filter, just to give it some movement. But mostly what I did was just put random effects units in, moved them around. If I got a piece that I really felt like didn't work, I'd get rid of that effect and change it. And then just put, less than 10 minutes of work into making this little thing. And now I have a quick, unique effects creator that not only works here, but also works here. And also works on other sections of the track. And as you can hear, that one's a little different. I'll explain why in a second. Right, but it pretty much just takes any sample that you put into it and does a cool little thing out of it. It does a cool little plucky thing out of it. And then the way that I got this piece, this little double time section that's right here, or the halftime section that's right there, because my double time knob is off, is I had that modulating my pluck sync to just turn it to half. And as you can see, it's slowing the plucks down. And you can even do the same thing. And I'll show another little example of this where I did the same thing with the vocals. So then here, if you go in, I have another patch, same principle, right? Same thing. And you can use it on any piece of that track or any track, right? Like I even use this later, and this is kind of rough, but this is right. That's the nabs 10 toes down going through the same thing. It pretty much just sounds good on everything. It's like Sweet Baby Ray's or whatever the fuck that Frank's Red Hot sauce. It's just put this shit on everything. It sounds good on everything. And you can even do a simpler version of it to get cool stuff. So I have this slow chop, and this one really is kind of not necessary because I could just do it by having one that's like this, but that gives you a little less freedom if later in the process you want to change each of the segments. So this one is it's got a slow chop that turns on my bottom half of the trance gates that are set to 1/16th, so it's a slower chop versus the double time 8th note chop right there. And you know, this can also be done in like a resampling sense. Like down here I rendered this, so I have another snap heap, same principle here, except for this time I'm just panning my different little segments that I have into different ears, right? One, it goes from the right ear to the left ear, right ear, left ear. These are basically just going left and right. And with a convolver, get some nice little glitchy fills for my next section of this track. And so before I end this one, I'll just say the different ways that I've gotten good use out of this trick. One is just by having it be like an element in your track. So like here, kind of empty, kind of boring, not a lot of energy, really low energy because there's not a lot of high end in it. Then we add this in, and it just brings that energy that this section is kind of missing. And the same thing here. So I have like my vocal, and let's play it without it. And then if I add my little vocal in, it just helps fill it out and bring a lot of movement to this kind of bare, empty sounding section. And then the other way that I've gotten a lot of use out of this trick is by using it as a filler for each of these empty sections here. Right, just going in and kind of, and you can even scan through here and get, you know, bits that you might like better. So like, right, stuff like that. And for this tutorial, I think that's all I'm going to show because this other bunch of pieces of the track are kind of unfinished. So I hope that helps you all out. I hope that gives you a quick way to make stuff. And please do all the things that help the channel grow. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.